Greetings, citizens, and thanks for joining me here today at Smash and Crash for another quick look. Today, we're going to have a look at the mighty Aegis Dynamics Retaliator. This beastly bomber is a sight to behold. It is huge, it is really impressive looking. It's not slow, but it doesn't maneuver well, and it doesn't have a great top speed either. So make sure that whenever you bring this in somewhere, you have some defenses. First off, it has 5-man turrets, each one sporting 2 Bulldog repeaters, size 4 turrets, and then the Bulldog repeaters mounted to them. Now, that being said, they're all manned and you can't control them from the cockpit. So dogfighting's not so much a good thing. And anyway, let's be honest, it turns like a Mack truck, so dogfighting isn't the greatest idea anyway. But you can fire the torpedoes from the cockpit. So if you find your target, great, launch the torpedoes, and if it's not heavily guarded, you can probably get away. But if it is heavily guarded, you may just kind of be sacrificing yourself. And heck, you can launch the torpedoes in a dogfight too. I don't recommend it, it's not the best way to do it, but it's a lot of fun, and I say you should give it a shot one of these days. As I'm walking around the ship, I'm just trying to give you an idea of the scale and the size and show you where some of the loadout points are. It has its own torpedoes and its own torpedo racks as opposed to the standard missiles and missile racks that you see on the other ships. And again, it's got those 5 turrets, which are awesome. So you can see some of the coolers, some of the power plants, so on and so forth. I just want to give you a quick walk around underneath the ship here. Then we're going to go inside and have a look at it. Your first time getting into the Retaliator isn't always straightforward. The doors are right here. They're kind of hidden. Well, they blend in. They're not really hidden. But either way, you walk up to them, use it, and the elevator comes down. You just ride that up inside. There's also what looks like a docking hatch right there. You can't get in through there, but you can certainly fall out. Like I said, can't come up, but you can certainly fall out. Starting from here, I'm going to do a double time run tour through this thing. That way you're not staring at the screen for hours on end. I may do one later where it's, normal speed, but this takes a while to get through here, just like things like the Starfarer, so I'm not going to eat all your time. Like many of the larger ships, the Retaliator has control panels in multiple places, some for power supplies, I'm sure, others for weapons, but honestly they can change at any given moment. This could clear skies or ground. That's an enormous torpedo. You'll see me running past lots of neat looking things and important looking things and turrets and down hallways and through engine rooms, but this is a quick look. Maybe if I do some in-depth looks we'll get a little more into it. I just kind of want to show everybody around the ship to give you an idea of what the major features are and just, get a feel for the thing. Some of the turrets take you up, some of the turrets will take you down and flip you over, some will take you down and not flip you over, but occasionally you'll get a little bug like this one. This little bug is just a tiny hiccup when you're in the hangar. If you're in the verse and it jettisons you, sorry. But it's something that they've been working on. It's gotten better over time. It seems to be the upside down turrets. Well, in space, nothing's upside down. But when you have to change orientation, that seems to be the one that's launching people through walls more frequently. If running around this thing doesn't give you a good perspective on the size, sitting in the turret overlooking the rest of the ship certainly does. And another docking hatch. No major ship would be complete without appropriate facilities. This room is where the heavy ordnance lives. Talk about massive missiles. Or torpedoes, whatever. This is where the big explosions live before they become explosions. Last couple of stops here, we've got the cockpit as well as the front upper turret. Oh yeah, and the bunk. Up top here, there's another turret, as well as some, let's just say, less comfortable accommodations. While this area may look like a really inconveniently placed prison cell or some kind of stasis pods, this is actually the living area. Not very comfortable looking. It looks more like the non-living area. Those look like coffins, in my opinion. Super futuristic space coffins, mind you, but whatever, moving on. So, this is the living area. Let's check out the last forward-facing turret here. This is the upper forward turret, and then the cockpit, and it's off to the verse. I do love some of the little animation bugs. They're all going to be worked out by the time this is, ready to be released, but like, this one's a favorite of mine. Broken wrists, how am I ever going to fight? But you're still trying to grab those triggers. Look at the shape of the hand. Again, this is a beautiful game. It's coming along very nicely. This doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen from time to time in different turrets. I've seen it in multiple ones, not just this ship. But, it's kind of a funny bug. I'm sure they'll get it hammered out. And there's a couple of things here and there. That's the nature of the alpha. Let's head on downstairs to the surprisingly small cockpit. Now, I imagine that part of the shape and design of the ship is because it is going to be a bomber. It's going to be able to do the procedural planet landings, and it's going to need to do a lot of what it's designed for. So it's designed like this to be aerodynamic in an atmosphere, and the small cockpit up front is going to be much more aerodynamic than, say, something like the, entire Constellation series. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. There is an additional turret there too, so there's just lots of firepower in this thing. Again, the cockpit is very surprisingly small, but it's efficient. I mean, it looks really, really cool too. I love the way you kind of have to step around to get in. The entrance and exit animations, I will keep saying how much of a fan I am of these because they put so much effort into making them look great. Look at all the detail in the cockpit, all the buttons and switches. One day it wouldn't surprise me if you could actually use all of them. That may be a little much. If anybody at Cloud Imperium is listening, that may be a little much for me to handle, but let's do a quick spin around the ship here, and then it's off to the verse to see how this thing handles.
System overheated.
Now for a gander around the actual functioning cockpit of this thing. And like I said, it's got everything. You can monitor just about everything in the ship from the cockpit. In fact, I think you can monitor everything from the cockpit. You just can't control everything. There's no weapons you can use from up here except for the missiles and the torpedoes. I have a soft spot for transforming ships. I know they all go from landing to takeoff, but I really like it when bigger parts of a move, like this one is really cool looking, and the Xi'an, the Cartual. Earlier when I said this ship isn't fast, but it isn't really slow, okay, by slow I meant it's not the slowest ship. This is clearly not meant for dogfighting, starting off at 165 meters a second, boosting to 210, and topping out at 495. This is not a fast ship. It is purpose-built and designed for what it does. It's great to come in and destroy targets, but not so great for fighting or quick attacks and then running away. Let's go see about dealing with some pirates here. And you want to intimidate somebody, a good way to do it is to launch a bunch of missiles at them at the same time. This is a good reminder that all the missiles have different lock-on methods, or at least there's a few different ones that all of the missiles can use, and they have different lock-on times. These take a little while to zero in.
Begin scan. Contact. Begin scan.
The missiles from the Retaliator aren't exactly the fastest things either, but they get the job done. Let's go ahead and switch back to inside the cockpit so we can see how long it takes for these things to hunt down their target.
Kill.
Well, there you have it, and that's about it for this slow but mighty monster, the Retaliator. Remember, if you're gonna go out with this thing and just this thing, make sure you have a few other people to at least man the turrets for you. Otherwise, it's great in a group. It's not very quick, but it's very, very strong and has some excellent armaments. It's purpose-built. It does what it's meant to do, and it's not meant to dogfight. So, thank you again for joining me here at Smash and Crash, and I will see you in the verse.
Ah, dang it.